Hey Travis, welcome. Damn it, I need another sticker, but I've used them all up. Is this 206? One to make. Byron Amber, how's it going? Barry, Soda, Martin, Anfin, Christian, Noel, rather. Kirsten, enough people are here. Actually, I should have another container for this, come to think of it. Should have all the other little bits and pieces that I have not added into it. Ah, there it is. My bad. Looks like I already did have the right container on hand. Kenny and Teresa, early, I don't know, 9:30, it's, in amongst the area. Anyway, so, yeah, we've got this job that we had the other week, and while I can get the Apple Configurator to see it when it's in DFU mode, it doesn't want to come good. And that's rather frustrating, as you can imagine. I've tried many different techniques, and I even checked with the local Apple store, who were kind enough to say to me, yep, you're doing everything we would have done, which basically didn't give me any hope. So now I'm going to have to look over the board. There's obviously something I've missed. Hopefully I can find it. I've realised now that I do not have my preferred glasses here at the moment, so I'm going to try survive without, but I have a feeling at some point I am going to get frustrated and have to go downstairs and, well, not downstairs. I'm going to go to the other office and get the right glasses. Hey Ed, how's it going? Warren Stamps, Pedro. Try a hammer. Hammer might work. Can't stop this. So I'm a little stumped as to why it's doing what it's doing. There's obviously a reason. Yeah, it'll start to accept the update, and then it just gives me an OXF5A or OXFA5, one of those two, which essentially means a connection problem. I just noticed a bit of junk actually down on that connection there, so have a look in there under the microscope quickly. Hey Rodrigo. Use Braille. Ha! Yeah. It's bad enough that I can't hear properly. I have to not see properly. Yeah, it's just fluxy flux. It's not really what I would call what would cause an actual failure of the communication, because it's not really an intermittent failure. It's very consistent. Yeah, we'll take the board out. Usually if you've got grime and junk on the board causing problems, it tends to be a little bit intermittent. That you wiggle the board around and it'll suddenly start working. Things like that. That's not what's happening here. What is happening here is... there we go. It really does look like a 1708 board. AJ. Hey David T. David from Cardiff, Wales. Okay. Do you speak Welsh? And if you do, I don't understand it, but I just thought I'd be curious. I used to know a lot of Welsh people when I was in South Africa. Fortunately, they all spoke English for my benefit. Ooh, it's available. Pernov, any chance you can accidentally have that land in my inbox? Or my... you know how to get it to me. I was not aware of that. I had the schematic, I didn't have the board view. Let's see. Sun or Yonder, new to MacBooks. Can you make a video explains how MacBook motherboard works? No. Unfortunately, that's not really what I do. It's on bad caps. Oh, thanks, Panoff. I gotta go to bad caps now and get this board. Bad caps. I was being a real please bro then. Dun, 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 dun. Search 820-01598. Yeah, Warren, if only I could fix him, eh? What's going on here? Peter Newman's now talking to me. How do you talk to me? Very convenient having... Wait. I got your message, Peter, and then it disappeared. Oh, I've got it now. My web... I'm gonna have to... Oops. Hey, Rosalind. At least you got your Diablo fix last night. Let's see, we've got the power sequence diagram. No, Panov, not Panov. Pedro, I don't think that's the one. That's the schematic only. Premature message. Post number 14. Oh, the RAR file. Okay. Oh yeah, board view file and RAR. Okay. RAR. Why do people like RAR files? I've never understood, to be honest. Unrar E MLB 8. Okay. I'm looking at the computer screen here. If it makes you feel better, I'll look down here and put it over the top of everybody else. I've just got to put the board view and the schematic into the right place. Okay, it should work. Oh, magic. Absolute magic. Well, ain't that something? Ta-da! Brilliant. Rightio. Now we can get back on with it. Right, now what we were looking for was just to see if there was any particular defect that we could see under the thing, and let's see, the multimeter can be redone. Camera's out, I have to reset that. Thanks Pianov for letting me know. Camera's going to reset shortly, hopefully. Hopefully. Camera? Nah. Come on, camera. It's a little upset because I left it running all day without doing anything. Okay, we've got a bit of corrosion under there. It shouldn't be a major issue. So we're getting 20 volts, we're getting some level of communication, but we're not getting enough. Supposedly that particular error, the one that is a disconnect error. So they are probably audio amplifiers. So we'll review what we did there. Silvav, I think the one advantage, at least with zip, is that you can archive everything together. And the reason why I'm not sure about with RAR is that I'm not sure what RAR offers over zip in this modern day and age, other than apparently it seems to be a little more elitist. Pretty sure we changed this little fellow. And that was T139 support. Okay, so that's probably not going to play into it. There was another one we replaced like that. I probably should have ultrasonic this, but meh. I can't remember if it was that one or not. Yeah, I think RAR multi-part archives was about the only thing it had. It certainly doesn't really hold a lot of weight these days. And WinZip can suck it too. Hey John Finn. The number of machines I find with WinZip still installed is just crazy. I'll just wipe it all out and it's like, why is WinZip on this Windows 7 machine when Windows 7 can handle zip directly anyway? Okay, so I think the other part was this one here, which is U2002, which is platform reset level shifter to 3v3. 74 AUP. Okay, so we'll see if we can just verify that we got the right parts from the right places. So search, find a part. Search. Yeah. Search. By the way, if you're a casual repair person or that, and you've been looking for iPhone board views, there are now iPhone board views available for Open Board View. So if you use Open Board View, you don't have Flex Board View, you can now get the iPhone board views. I've managed to convert some. So if you're interested, you can get them. They're on bad caps. P&OV might be able to direct you to the URL if you want it. They're not as detailed as the ones for Flexboard View, but it is enough to get you through. And I do have a update of OpenBoard View being reviewed, and if that goes, if we manage to get that sorted out, then it may make things even easier again. Okay, that little chip is everywhere, which I sort of anticipated, which is why I stole it. Let's see, 4924. Interesting, they've given a different block diagram here, but it will be the same old chip. I'm just replacing it again, just in case I botched it up. So yeah, know of a guy in the mines who made a joke, an Aboriginal false sacred site, the mines isolated and worked. Whoa, that would have, yeah, that's kind of like doing the whole bomb thing on aeroplanes lately. It's not a good idea to do that. And yeah, he would be right to keep his mouth shut now. That's gonna, it won't go down well on his record. Oh, that is a seriously smashed up board, and it looks like it's a no stuff anyway. This isn't a donor board, this is a piece of trash. What else can we steal it from? What have I got down here? I've got plenty of 3476s. Oh, he actually got found out. Oh wow, brutal. Yep, that's pretty much the end of your career there. More because of the company getting ticked off at you more than anything else, probably. Maybe actually I don't have as many of these as I thought. Yeah. Interesting that the iPhones have them. The old ones. I'm just looking to see, I'm pretty sure I got some 840 boards. Andrew, oh yeah, I remember what you had to remind me of. Thanks. There we are, think of it. Hey, NW. Hey, Victor. Just saw you there. Not sure if this is an 840 or a something else, but it's pretty crispy fried, this one. 875, this is. Okay, 875 supposedly has it. Bit of a gamble, to be honest. It's like, this could be a very dead board. I'm pretty sure that's our little beast there. Sure looks like it. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised that the 1708 boards have it, given that this board is not too dissimilar to a 1708. Okay, so I'm just going to mark around that so I can spot it quickly when I come back. notice sometimes you look at certain chips and are usually right path. Yeah, I suppose it depends on the scenario. Some things are just inherently inclined to die. It's more an experience thing than anything else. In fact, that's pretty much probably 99% of all this is just experience. And if you don't have the experience, then being able to read a schematic and understand how things tie together goes a long way. Schematics certainly can be very daunting at first. It just seems like this huge bunch of gobbledygook, and I completely respect that. Once you start getting used to breaking it down into realizing that they're just modules put together on a board. Like this here will be one particular module for whatever it does, and this is another little module, that will probably be another module. And most of all these little bits and pieces, little glue parts, so to speak, around the chip, they're not doing anything overly fancy other than just keeping it stable or supplying power or setting parameters and things like that. These days, modern electronics with chips and such are, I would say, a lot simpler than if you say look at audio amplifiers from the 1980s and things like that. Back then, where when you tried to stage your amplifiers, like you had 2 or 3 stage amplification, stuff like that, and you're trying to get your feedback right, and you're trying to get your biasing right. Yeah, that stuff was really a nightmare. But with this sort of modern digital type electronics, it's substantially easier. They're just like little functional blocks, and you replace the functional block with, yeah, you just read what it does and wait for the signals to go off it. Oh shoot, no wonder it stinks. Oh. Is that you? Well, that was freaky. That was way off the other side of the board. Lucky me. Hey Nick. I'll tell you what, who's got a pure Class A amplifier? I don't think many people bother to run those anymore. Pure Class A will keep your house nice and warm in winter at least. Here, we're just going to stick you there. You belong up here. Hey Nick. Warren. Seem to be missing Wayne Taylor. Is normally around at this time. You can get pure Class A and transistor amps as well. Yeah, if you bias the transistor so that basically it's always conducting. They're just very, very hot. Wearing a Genius, but hardly. It's called a shirt that I pulled out of the wash, and it actually has a couple of holes in it because I accidentally left what did I leave in it? I left a 75mm self-tapping treated wood screw in it in my pocket, and it got tangled up with the shirt in the wash, and consequently put holes in it, and it was brand new, naturally. Hey Vladim. What's this, Wizok? You've seen the same motherboard 50 times. Get what? What are you talking about? This is a whole new board. Man, it's strange people thinking that I'm doing the same job over and over. This is only the second time this board's been on the YouTube. At least your washing machine isn't broken. Yeah, thank goodness for that. I really don't need to be forking out money for another one of those. But with Class A amps, basically the principle is that their transistors are perpetually conducting. They're never in the off state. And as a consequence, you have a lot of waste heat being developed. Hey, Ainsley. Okay, we've got pin 1 down the bottom left here. Quit. Let's go to full microscope. And pin 1 top right. Hey, Tony W. Is the attempt number fictional? Yeah, just a little bit. This is more like attempt number 6 or 7. This board's been taunting me a little bit because it's a new process that I'm doing. This is my first T2 reflash, where you have to use the Apple Configurator setup. I've never done that before. Fortunately, there's been a lot of people being very helpful. That goes a long way towards making things somewhat more bearable. I don't know if my cable's up to snuff or not, so I did replace, I did order a genuine Apple one. It's probably not required, but I did it anyway. Ain't nobody important. Thought you were cold. Huh. I guess I sort of am. It's a little cool. It's halfway between being cool and not cool around here. The days are certainly very warm now. I really don't know exactly what's causing this problem. No one can give me an answer on that at this point. But it was good to get help from the Apple store. Well, they're not really an Apple store, they're an Apple authorized agent. It was good to get their help and guidance, just in the fact that they said, no, look, you're doing what we would normally do, so yeah, I guess you have to go back to the board and have a look and see what you've missed. It's nice when you can have a respectable relationship like that. How was the earthquake? That shook me up a little, I guess. Nah, I was half asleep, just lying on the bed, and then something woke me up, and apparently that was that. particularly with AASPs, you know, service agents, a lot of those guys, they're much like what we are. Just doing the best they can, and they've probably run into their own limitations when it comes to Apple too. Oh dear, what's Jason Vollmer doing? Look what I just did. What are you doing, Jason? I'm in the middle of streaming on YouTube, you useless git. What did he do? I have no idea what he's doing. What have you done, Jason? What am I looking at? I don't recognize it. Question mark. Let me have a look, Pernov. I'll check, see that. I did have a look at that. Yeah. I'll check it again. Sometimes I guess you gotta go over these things a few times just to... yeah, sometimes you miss things a couple of times around. Ah, damn. STS is interfering with our workflow here. I mean, what's he even doing up at this hour? Let's see. Used heat to remove something. Come off. Had no idea we need to keep... Oh, 3 coils came off. Oh, right. Whoops. So, let's have a look. Now I can share his shame. Ha! Whoops. That is funny. Yeah. Let's share the shame. He's probably going, no, you bastard. Let's see. I'm guessing they're the coils that came up. Stuck too strong to the adhesive backing and just pulled up from the board. That's brutal. That is really brutal. Ah, Jason. He does good work, so it's always interesting to see when things go wrong. And it's nice to know that we're all human. And I have lost the chat. Where did the chat go? Ah, there's the chat. Right. Hey, Jim Hook's here. How's it going? Alright. Yeah, free coils to all who want them. Hey, yummy steak. Yeah, there is a power sequence there too. Yeah, I've got a whole new bunch of stuff. This is the first night now I've actually got the board view. Thank you very much, Pernov, for letting me know. So we may have a bit more of a chance. It does seem to be charging the battery as well, so functionally it seems to be going alright. And like I said, I do get the DFU mode, so it is responding to the keyboard sequences. Just something's not quite right. I mean, I really am not expecting this area to be the problem maker. And the fact that we do get the 20 volts kind of means that the CD3217 should be out of the picture as well. I'll just wash the connector a bit more. Ah, g'day, Yamara. Didn't see you sneak in there, buddy. How's it going? I shouldn't really call you buddy. I should call you, g'day, you mongrel. What you don't know, I don't know you well enough to call you nice names. Is it choppy for everyone? I'm not showing any dropped items at the moment. Looks like ZX is. Alright, I will check to see what's going on. My load average is fine. I am getting drop frames now. But it's the internet, not me. That's okay, you know, I figured that, yeah, it's not your normal scene anyway. I'll try to drop the bitrate for everybody. Personally, I hate doing that. Yeah, we're suffering internet connectivity issues. It's not me, it's the internet. So you can blame Tony Abbott and Malcolm Turnbull for that. Oh, and Murdoch, of course. Rupert Murdoch, always Rupert Murdoch. I wonder what goes on there, because there is corrosion on that connector. Turning to max headroom. Well, finally, I've actually got some style. CJ 6640. It's a digital microphone. That's not going to be anything for us. And it wasn't really any notable corrosion anyway in the end. There was a chip around here I saw that had some sort of burning, not burning, but it looked like sort of corrosion around it. I really can't find it anymore. It was kind of like that sort of type of chip. Like that. I do wonder whether maybe the ultrasonicing this board might help it a little bit. Whether it's not going to do diddly squat. Do you use special Q-tips to prevent fuzz? No, I don't. I just use whatever turns up in the mail. Oh, there it is. That's the one I was looking for. I think if you just twirl the Q-tips, it helps. You'll never really stop them dropping threads, but you can at least help by twirling. I thought diddly squat was standard Australian terminology for nothing, or close to nothing. Often used in terms like I know diddly squat. Wonder what the history of that term is. Ah, Wayne Taylor's here. Wayne, where were you the other day? I kind of noticed you were missing and was going to have to send a search party out and make sure you weren't dead. Anyway, yes, the Q-tips. This is what Wayne Taylor has sent me. They're, I believe you said they're gun cleaning tips, but they're very handy. They're a very fine amount of cotton on the tip. Really good for getting into those nooks and crannies. Bugger all is also diddly squat. Yep, there we go. We've got the domestic translation library here. Rodrigo, kitties are going well. We're making plans for our next expansion process. We will probably be turning the back wedge into the foster care zone. We currently have 6 cats under foster care, and fortunately, because we've got a natural plot of land next to us, during the day they go over there and they sleep, and then at night time they come into that new enclosure that you saw me build, and we lock them in the new enclosure. When we say that we lock them in, I mean they can get out if they want, but we hold them in the new enclosure and until the small hours of the morning, and that way it keeps them away from the other roaming cats that tend to fight with them, beat on them, try to mate them and stuff like that, you know, all the unsavory stuff. And it's working well, because we used to be up 3-4 times a night, every night, dealing with whatever fight was going on, and now it's pretty damn quiet. We don't get that, but we do want to knock it up to the next level so that we've got more permanent area for them, and so we're going to give them the what we call the wedge up the back, and tend to legitimately seal them in there now. And then we'll also create a permanent housing area for them to roost. I shouldn't say roost, but yeah, to snuggle up and sleep. And genuinely keep them now out of the neighborhood, so to speak. And when we do that, then we'll probably have a better chance of being able to desex the females, which of course is the main thing that you want to be able to do. And also make sure that we can get them socialized a lot more. We're doing pretty good with the socializing with the current setup. I shouldn't say we, because really it's a leader that's doing all that hard work. It's a lot of hours going out there and just playing with them, sitting with them, getting their trust, things like that. Converting them away from being feral little rats to, you know, the social, indoor, on the property kitty cats that they should be. But yeah, it's hard work. It's a lot of hours, but we don't mind doing that. But we do need to sort out the area that we want to put him in, and then at least once we've done that properly, we'll be able to disconnect a bit more from them, because they'll be up at the one end of the property. They'll be safe, and once we've fed them and dealt with them for the night, we can come back to our area of the property and look after our own kitty cats, of course. So, and Milo's doing perfectly well now. He's gotten back to starting to biting me and waking me up and things like that, so he's definitely doing well. It would appear that it was indeed a case of salmonella or something like that he had, and he wasn't able to shake it. So it was fortunate we did take him down to the clinic, because he probably would have had complications from dehydration and such. Let's see. Oh, I've got to read up on what happened to Wayne. Dun, dun, dun. Wait, what? It said, so what, Wayne, your defibrillator battery thing? Wayne, you got a defib in your chest? I had no idea. So you're kind of a cyborg then. Did anyone who has the Art of Electronics book ever read the ultra low power section where they talked about how they design a oscillator for pacemakers and such? It was quite interesting, especially given the technology at the time. Obviously a defib is different to a pacemaker, but it was just still interesting to read how they came up with the design and what parameters they could skirt around. One of the interesting ones was the fact that because it's embedded in the human body, they don't have to worry about temperature stability so much, because obviously the human body keeps a fairly steady temperature, ideally, unless you've dunked yourself into an ice bath or you've gone running in a marathon through modern Australian bushfire. Okay, so we've put this back together. Now we're going to go to the machine behind me and see if we can actually get it to do something better than do nothing in the DFU mode. Yamara, 96-year-old mum is a pacemaker, going strong, but her mind is going from... that is always not nice. I do wonder... Yeah. You guys aren't going to see much of this, but... Okay, at least I can get this into DFU mode pretty easy. And in saying that, it doesn't go into DFU mode this time. Damn it. There we go. Does it show up? Yeah, close enough. So if I go restore, the person's already got all their data and everything. So it's unzipping the OS, installing the OS, and it'll do this for a few minutes and it'll probably come back with the OX F5A or O5FXA or whatever it is. Guess we'll see. Let it run for a bit. Geez, Wayne, what happened to your heart in the first place? Was it just bad luck, or cop yourself a bad bout of some unfortunate disease or something? I mean, only if you want to tell. Isn't a small zap, it's a full-on electrocution. Keeps the heart going back to normal 3 times. Do you have to keep it limited to exercise or limited activity, I presume, so as to not unduly strain the heart? Finally found my glasses, they're right there behind me. I'm an idiot. Triple bypass from injury at work during fight. Oh, sorry to hear that, Wayne. Oh, right, yeah, okay, I understand, Wayne, yep. Yeah, that sucks. Doing your job and that happens to you. I mean, I know it's an anticipated, possible part of the job, but still not nice. Limited exercise. Well, it certainly stops me complaining about my stuff, doesn't it? Alright, the other night we were looking at Pedro's i7 board. Is this it? And Pelnov was fairly adamant that there was something else amiss with it instead of my fear-mongering. So I'm going to give Pelnov another chance here, and Pedro, and see if Pelnov wants to guide us down the rabbit hole at all, and see what we can find on this particularly interesting 2850. Pelnov, are you there? I feel like on, what do you call it, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and now I'm calling a friend. And then all that's going to happen is the phone's going to ring out. Still restoring. So I have a feeling that's not how it's supposed to go. It's taken too long. John Finn is 64, still most okay except for hearing loss. So that I can appreciate. Since I've given up ice cream, I have to say my liver's not been complaining as much. So I don't know whether that's coincidental or whether that's causal. I'm kind of disappointed if it's causal, but I suppose I should be happy. At least I found a reason for it. But my goodness, I love my ice cream, so you can appreciate it's kind of painful for me not to have it. We give this a brush. This is a very hairy board. Looks like Pelnov's not here today. The call a friend option has been wasted. He's probably saying, "You're not my friend." I suppose technically that is quite true, actually. Not even technically, it is quite true. He's an associate, he knows me, and that's about it. Alright, we'll put that. It could be gall in there. It's hard to say sometimes because of the way it shifts around. Like normally, here we go. Let's do doctor stuff. Yeah, wow. This channel is no longer about fixing MacBooks. It's about fixing old Mac. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, gall usually is sort of like kind of hits you around about just off to this from the solar plexus, but I tend to get it more way off to the side. So it could be large intestine upset, or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, well, while we're waiting for Penov, we'll have a look at this 164 board instead. Are they feral cats or just strays? They're strays. Feral cats, yeah, pretty much nothing you can do about it, unfortunately, but usually feral cats are born in the wild, grown up in the wild, are wild. Holy crap, we found the fault of the board already. Teresa Goldstone. Alright, well, it looks like I'm going to have myself a nice big jug of olive oil, Epsom salts, and apple juice, and that will fix those up. Fix those up faster than we fix up this 165 board, because we just found the fault just by looking at it while we were casually yabbering away. Bit of corrosion there too, we have to fix that up. Oh, and there. Whoa. Actually, maybe we can't fix this one. If you're wondering why I'm saying maybe we can't fix this one, is because the nature of the way that has burned out makes me think something very bad happened to this board. In that maybe it wasn't a short-circuited cap, but rather something blew up the cap. Because we've got this one blown to pieces, and we've got that one blown to pieces. That's not normally how it goes. I'm glad to see it is a 164 board. I was only guessing. Well, I suppose we'll remove those parts and see what happens, shall we? But yeah, when they are at the exploded, that's, yeah, lightning damage. Damn you, Andrew, getting straight to where I was heading. Thank you very much. There is a bit of corrosion there as well, but I won't be surprised if we take these caps off and everything should be okay. And it, yeah. Teresa, yeah, the apple cider vinegar, that's why I usually have a lot of apple juice. Barry, that, it's really unpredictable this way it behaves. Like, I know usually the standard test for gallstones is they'll get you to breathe in as hard as you can, yeah, a lot, and then you'll tend to have that stab feel where your gallbladder is, and that will stop you from breathing in anymore, but I didn't get that, so I don't know. Anyway, we'll give it a whirl. I know I definitely have other symptoms of it, and usually if I have my Epsom salts and apple juice and oil, it does tend to clear them out, but sometimes lately it's just they're not budging, and that kind of gives me cause for concern, because I really don't want to go in for surgery for that stuff. Because sure, you can just get the bladder removed, but I know there's a few people who have had that happen and their life is miserable afterwards. Yeah, one very broken cap. You're going to come off too. I think you're a temperature sensor. I had chronic pancreatitis. The acute version is meant to be worse than childbirth. I'd believe that, yeah. Yeah, Yindi, that's good. Someone punch you in the gut, maybe. Often wonder whether some people try that technique, you know, get someone to whack them in the gut, pop those stones out, probably rupture the gallbladder. Nick, that's brutal, but yeah, I've heard about people suffering pancreatitis really hurting on that. We copped something about 10 years ago, and we don't exactly know what it is. We're pretty sure it might have been glandular fever, but it made my liver and my spleen just like puff right up to the point where if anyone like bumped me in that area, I felt like that the sac that contains your organs, each organ has a membrane sac around it. I felt like they were going to rupture, and so there were quite a few days where we would just lie in bed and have nobody touch us, because yeah, it was pretty damn painful. It took a long time for that to go away. I did have CT scan and everything like that, and they're just like, yeah, it's inflamed. It's like, brilliant, fantastic. Most medicine seems to be, at least for us, symptomatic response type stuff, whereas they go, well, how do you feel? And you're like, well, this hurts. And they go, we'll take this to make the pain go away and hope that your body sorts it out for you. It's like a bravo, yeah. And it's only if they really can't control you symptomatically that they bother to go looking for the actual reason for your pain. I mean, most times it works out. Your body does sort it out, whatever's going on. But there are times when the whole symptomatic treatment approach can actually waste valuable time that you really don't want to be wasting. Hey, Michael Kerem, welcome. Been a while. John Finn, you had your gallbladder out. Can't speak. 10 years ago. Not nice as in your life is not nice because of that now, or not nice as in the process wasn't nice? And they do it so quickly these days too, with keyhole surgery. It's okay, Pianov. Opportunity's gone. No, we'll bring it back in a moment after we finish with the 164. I'm pretty sure this 164 is not going to work, and if it does, I have a feeling it's probably going to have some rather unusual quirks. I find a lot of equipment that gets struck by lightning tends to have odd behavior. I mean, even after you supposedly fixed it up, and everything's running, they, for whatever reason, seem to have this habit of having little spasms periodically. A good spot in the hole getting old issues. Feel better since cutting the drink and have lost weight. Ah, Ed, if only I had that to actually go with, because I gave up the drink 20 years ago now, and so I've kind of used that card. Should have saved it for now, eh? And the best thing is that the last time I went to the doctors to get a general checkup, they said, "Oh, you got a fatty liver, and it's maybe you should stop drinking." I'm like, "I don't drink," and they go, "Ah, you've got a non-alcoholic fatty liver, common for people who have high anxiety. Well done." And then, of course, that just helps your anxiety go up a little more. So I gotta find myself a 164 board. I don't have too many of them. They're not exactly the most common job to come in here. Yeah, most people, the 11 inches were never really that popular. Yeah, the 13 inch always was a little on the small side for some people to start with, and then you try to squish them down to 11 inches and yeah, the sales just weren't there, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I've got one handy, so I'm just going to find out what that part is. A hole in the head diagnosis, yeah. Okay, let's see, the 164. Yeah, I've noticed that humans that get struck by lightning are a bit like that too, yes. And other things, you know, cars and stuff. There's always some quirk. What I find the most freaky about humans that get hit, the way their eyes get ruined. They get that, I can't remember the actual name for it anymore. There's a particular name that's given to the way their eyes look afterwards. Okay, so this and this part, 47 picofarad, it's a pretty standard thermal stuff. So we're looking at BC846 blip. Yeah, it is just a fraction too small. I think 12 inch, I think that's why they end up going 12 inches in general, no lower anymore. Okay, the 165's got them, so we'll have a look at that. Well, they're all the same anyway. Blip, blip, blip. Yep. Grab ourselves a 165 board. So there'll be a little critter there, I think. No. No, there. Okay. These two pieces is what we'll take. Oh, can't see. AJ, I think the 13 inch I can understand. The 13 inch is a nice size. It's portable, but it still gives you the full laptop experience such. Particularly when you're dealing with multiple processors at once. It's a full-blown machine rather than a tablet. Ah, Leader's here. Hello, sweetie. Yeah, anxiety causes the fatty liver. It's known as the NAFL, non-alcoholic fatty liver. And unfortunately, unlike the alcoholic fatty liver, it's a lot harder to deal with. Because you can't just stop drinking. You've got to find something else to stop. Anyway, it's making me cranky not being able to have ice cream. I will definitely tell you that now. I do love my ice cream and not getting it. Yeah. Still some flux. Let's see, Wayne. Oh, you mean mild cirrhosis of the liver, as opposed to scoliosis, which is the back thing. Oh no, yeah. Is that how you spell cirrhosis? Anyway. I always thought it was CIS. Anyway. Did that just pop or... Oh no, it's a piece of junk. I gotta admit, I'm not sure if that is the right way around. There it is. Yeah, combat, you should be fine for another 2 years. It's really coming around about your mid-30s that things... Around your mid-30s you start getting the RSVP cards arriving in the mail for your future ailments. For some people it's well known in advance, but for a lot of people it's a case of getting a free lotto ticket, and then when you turn 40 you get to unpack check your lotto winnings and see what you've been gifted with. Alright, let's see if this thing even works. Around 40 I found bits not working properly, yeah. Right, Cirro CI-RR. That's what I thought it was, but at least we knew what we were talking about regardless. Okay, I do have an 11-inch assembly here. I'm not sure if it's a new one or not. Okay, this is the older one, but I'm pretty sure the chassis are compatible. It's kind of sad. I have this fully functioning 11-inch machine here, and I don't even use it. It's brand new battery and everything. I just don't use it. Realistically, I should, sell it for something like that. But then I always worry that if I sell it, then the next day I'm going to need a chassis. Because that's just the way it goes. Man, I even screwed this in. Ah. $3437B stars 3 beats. Reflowed the RAM EFI chip. Now it's orange light, no power on. Hey, I've even got an SSD in here. Where's this one? This is a... Don't know what size it is, but it's a Samsung, so it's not worth me worrying about anyway. It's 128. Getting so many dying Samsung units lately. I have found something a little strange, and that is it's easier to recover the Samsung SSDs after they've died in the MacBook if you plug them in to an iMac. If you plug them into an iMac, you have a much better chance of recovering them than if you use one of those external USB. If you use a PC or anything like that. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I was having a lot of trouble getting the unit to stay afloat and stay connected when I was doing my DD rescue processes. But then when I connected it up to the iMac and I did DD rescue on that, I was actually able to get it to work. So I don't know what the difference was. All I know is that I was lucky enough to recover the person's data. How do you plug it in? Just through a USB-A. Just through a USB adapter for those particular SSDs. You could also get the Thunderbolt adapter too. But yeah, they do plug in just through a normal USB socket. Yeah, AJ, the misbehavior of these SSDs, it only really seems to be this model. It's not something that's specific to Samsung directly, but it just seems to be this controller, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And so we had just blanket failures everywhere. For whatever reason, the controller just doesn't work well. It just dies, misbehaves, gets really hot. I don't have a keyboard flex. I have no idea even what this keyboard flex would look like at this point. We can still test it. We'll just boot it up and see what happens. We can always plug an external keyboard in, push come to shove. And where's the crossflex? Was the crossflex there when I pulled this apart? Oh yeah, there it is. We'll start out scratching my nose. We'll start out with the Chipmunk. Power supply is good. Plug in, green light, fan spin, Chipmunk alive. I think it was a bong. Green light. Okay, so we are booting on this one and everything. I will put my test drive into it once I find it. Okay, test drive. I see my wife is interrogating you all. She will use you all one way or another in her next book. You'll probably become nothing more than red shirts, driven to the slaughter by her vampires, zombies, or whatever that decides to slaughter the world. Well, we are functioning, so we do have what seems to be a functioning 164 board. I'm not sure I'd really trust this one though. Like I said, yeah, lightning damage, if that is what it was. It's not the sort of thing that relationships long-term are built from. Alright, so Pilnov, if you're still there, did you want to repair the 2850, or you're not really feeling up to it? Now I'm going to put this, which was a nicely assembled machine, off somewhere where I'll forget about it and it'll just collect dust. And yeah, that was the smart move, Paul. Real smart. Oh, what's this? Wayne showing us a cheap bargain. Kind of redundant though, isn't it? Cheap bargain. Crucial, 1TB NVMe, 94. Whoa! Damn, if I hadn't spent about $1,000 today on stuff, then I probably would have considered picking one of those up. No, though, funnily enough, so do I. I think of like goose liver pate. Shouldn't, but yeah, that is where my thoughts also go. I'm thinking, great, some alien's are going to probably harvest me for my liver, turn it into pate. Ha, Joshua, yeah, you're probably one of the younger ones in this chat right now. Hey, Any555. Let's see, is Any555 nice and sharp today? Got those square edges really square, or are you getting slack and rounding off at the top? Maybe you're overshooting and ringing too. Where's that 2850? Oh, it looks like our... Yeah, here we go. The DFU did not work again. OS cannot be restored to this device. Gave up waiting for the device to transition from DFU state. Now that's funny. It actually says gave up waiting for device to transition from a DFU state to DFU state. So I didn't get that. OXFA5 4005 error. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's very frustrating. Okay, where's that? Here we go. I bet your Pernov's run off again. It's negligible, is it? Alright. As long as you don't overshoot too much. What, John? Alita's never going to leave me. Unless the aliens abduct her. Because if she leaves me, then she's leaving all her fur kids. And she could never do that. She's not going to leave me a Dear John letter. There, where's the fun of this if Pernov's not here? I'm just going to go around in circles again. Oh, for flip's sake. I really need a bigger workshop, big time. I don't know all your secrets. You just say that to make me think I know all your secrets, but really you've got secrets about the fact that I don't know all your secrets. I need a DCM board. When people tell you that you know all their secrets, it means they're hiding more. But they're scary secrets. Like the spider I just... Come here, spider. I'm sorry, spider. I thought you were splitting redback for a second. Okay, come here, dude. Actually, you're a girl, but... Come here. Come on. No, you don't want to really hang around in this workshop. It's a bad workshop to be in. Come on. Come on, just jump on my hand. good one. There you go. Alright, now to find you a better place to be, because this is not a good place to be. Then again, it's been living in here for... Oh. Ah, there you are. Put you out the window. Well, not actually out the window. I'll just put you... Alright, fine. You want to go there? Fine. Cantankerous, fat lady jumping spider. They're marvellous little creatures, really. I don't know why people don't like them. I mean, yeah, you can get shocked occasionally just by, get caught off guard with them, but aside from that, they're great little critters. And you can get up close to them, look at them, and they're looking right at you, and mind you, they're probably thinking, I'm going to eat your soul. But, you can still laugh at them. So, ha ha ha, you wish. Okay. One of those mag safes should do the trick. Oh, for sure, Mara. The only spider that we very promptly put out of action is the redback when they are in our yard, in the house, typically under the little nooks and crannies and stuff like that. Other than that, every other spider gets a free pass in this house. Sometimes a little bit too much. You get all the daddy long legs hanging up around the ceilings and whoops. Always feel really bad when I've got to clean them out. So sorry dudes. It's not your fault that you're here. You're just, you're just doing your thing and I'm getting in the way and wiping everything out. Okay, Barry, thanks for being here. I'm a major animal person. I really will very much go out of my way to avoid harming or anything animals if I can. Even at my own detriment. Like the time I saved a bat. And then had to get a whole bunch of shots because I didn't want to get lysovirus because I didn't want my brain to melt. Yeah, we still don't have a CPU boot here. And this is why we need Pernov, because he'll be able to say, oh, just go and check this rail, and you'll be just dandy fine and everything will work. But the trouble is, you see, I've gotten too used to being saved like that, so now I'll probably have to use my own brains and actually work this out myself. Damn it. Alita, I didn't realize that was one of the reasons you love me. I thought it was other things. Anyway, all the marvelous food that I make and stuff like that. Although, admittingly, I don't make you enough food anymore. Not enough creamy pasta, never redoing the phyllo potato olive wrap. All those things. Okay, you need take care, sleep well. I'll see you next time. Hey, Def Pump, yeah, check the rails, my god. Yeah, Def Pump, I just see you and the first thing you tell me is check the rails. Really? Really? You think I'm not going to do that? Honestly, who do you think I am, Lewis? Okay, Pernov, no worries. I may as well create a favorite. Rails. Add. I wonder how many of these rail names are similar to the existing ones that I've got for the 165s, 3437s and things like that. You've been here for 10 minutes, I didn't realise. Lag, it's the lag, that's what it is. Let's see, Apple 820 50. No, that's not what I want. Locate open board data. Okay. Oh, that one doesn't have it. Well, just realised I could smell smoking hot stuff, and it's the CPU and PCH. Whoops. Let's see, preferences, select. My code must be a little bit funky here, because it should have actually detected that directly on its own. Yeah, 50, open, done. Yeah, we probably just cooked the mainboard on this. It's very, very hot. So hot that I can actually smell the deodorant of the person who used to use this. I don't think I've nailed it. I'm fairly sure even by this stage the Intel CPUs would control themselves before they got out of hand. I'm pretty damn sure this has got a bend in it though. Yeah, this has really got a bend in it. Wow, that was oh, that was unexpected. The COVID's got me. Save yourselves. Maybe I should try and diagnose this one, because this has definitely got a bend in it. And I'm not prejudiced against bending boards, but that is kind of set me back a little. Ah, Philips head. That's how old this is. It's Philips. Joseph, your phone doesn't have 5G. Oh my goodness, the 5G conspiracies. Oh my goodness. I remember when the 3G came out, there was all the same conspiracy, and the 4G came out, and all the same conspiracy. And it just never changes. Primary thing, yeah, admittingly back when it was 3 and 4G it was more worried about the fact that it might have been ionizing radiation and stuff like that. this did work momentarily, so there's something intermittent going on in this. Let's see if it actually does come back up this time. It's a real shame. I can smell... I just fired up then. I can smell castor oil on this. Well, it looks like it's stuck on that. Now what I really hate about these battery configurations is the fact that you have to undo the screws while it's connected. I'm almost certain that I can't get that battery connector out. Yeah. I mean, I can partially, but it still runs. DFU, no, this is not the hard drive flex one. Yeah, this is a different one, I think. That was what that board was. It was for this job, but that was a different 2850 board, and it was because of the APFS. Is this one of those I've had to reheat the GPU? You shouldn't have to reheat the GPU on these ones because it's only the capacitor that's a problem on these. And that capacitor, once you replace it, solves the actual problem on this 2850 boards. There's an L here. Oh, an L. No, this is a 2850 NL i7. Sometimes it bongs, sometimes it does not. It's intermittent. Let's try it with one stick, see what happens. Going back to trying the fundamentals once more. Pedro, the main reason I'm worried about working on that board that you sent up is because of the fact that it's got the bend in it. If it didn't have the bend in it, I'd be fine, but it's got a bend, which means I'm probably going to be up the creek with that. So Nell, are you still going off to see Tim? Disconnect all items and try again. Saw a post iFixit, had to wedge some poly on this. Ah, right now. Does it beep without the RAM? Hey, Panoff. I don't believe so. I do have the speaker connector, just in case people think that is something I would miss, which I probably would. No beeping, Panoff. No beeping with no RAM. Oh, James, it should still bong or beep, particularly with the RAM out. Put back RAM and check exact voltage on CPU vehicle. Okay. We are under the direction of senior repair person Pernov here. RAM back in. Let's see, where can I get CPU V-core on this back side? Pernov, you happy for me to get CPU V-Core off just here? Well, I guess we'll see, eh? Lift this board up. I'm just going to slide this over the edge of the bench so that I can keep the lid open while I do this. Uh, 0.819, okay, so let's say 0.81 there, Pernov. And I'm measuring that on C1651. It's definitely getting hot. That much is for sure. Alright, now we measure without the RAM. I should be writing this down. Uh, 0.80. So we're 10 millivolt down or so. So yeah, 10 millivolt down, slightly down on with the RAM one. Do the Jessa test with your I got too much insulating material in front of my face, so I'll probably have to do the scrotum test. Pull the flex for the charge state indicator. Oh, crikey. You know, I have... Damn it. If that is it, I will be mad. I've had that happen once before, and it's such an uncommon thing, but common enough, but I still forget it every time. Because, yeah, I've had it short out before. Just keep going till your beard catches fire. That'd be brutal. Too much information. No, well, that was the Jessa Jones approved male testing system. Yeah, if you're a male, then you can test for thermal activity using that technique. That was her suggestion. It wasn't me actually saying I would do it. Just saying what does get done. Where the hell did I put that chipmunk? Oh, there it is. Chris Esteban, no, I'm very much on almost the opposite side of the world compared to Lewis. Is this 20? This is a 2850, so I'll let you decide whether that's 2010 or not. What's interesting, Pernov, is sometimes this will actually boot up and sometimes it will not. The other day it was running and I thought, oh, maybe I overlooked something stupid and simple, but now it's back to not running. XY comma. Still remember the 12AX7 6L6 tubes. It's a little weird for me to say this, but tubes actually spook me out. And I think part of the reason why they spook me out is because my neighbors used to have a large tube-powered entertainment unit, back from like the 60s or something like that. And when it was off tune or something like that, because he'd run it all day for the radio or something like that, when it was a bit off, and it was on the basement of his house, this bloke, and of course for some reason as a kid I didn't honour social niceties, and I would just go through the under of his house because it was an interesting place. I knew the kids that there. But yeah, the weird noises this radio would make, and yeah, it was a tube radio system, and that spooked the living daylights out of it because there was no lights under the basement except for some fluorescent lights switch that I didn't know where it was. So I'd always be going in the dark. Stupid things you do as a kid, honestly. So yeah, let me go and spook myself out. Why not? And so, as a consequence, I look at valves and I feel like they're like some kind of spirit trap or something like that, in the way they make those noises. And of course half the time they were lethal if you stuck your finger in the wrong place. Still, that's true of many things. Hey Michael-chan. Ni hao ma? The smell of hot valves. That's all good and fine until it's your car engine, and then you realise, ah, great, we've ruined the engine. Don't forget red plating. Good so far? That's good. You're just starting your day, or you halfway through? I'm almost finished my day. Okay, what flex have I forgotten about here? What? Oh, duh. The great obvious one's right in front of me. Yeah, I don't know how Lewis manages to put things back together after shoving every little screw on the magnet. I will use, the magnet screw technique to pick up a known group of screws, but there's no way I can stick them all like he does onto one lump and then just remember which one goes where. No siree, that is not in my capability. It's completely unrealistic. Two hours behind ours. Oh, really? Okay. I suppose that makes sense. In which case you're on the East Coast side. So we get fan spin, we get this, but we just don't get any CPU life. But we definitely got power to the CPU and the GPU. They're getting warm. So there's something else stalling them. The fans are going fairly hefty now. Yeah, still nothing. Press on chipset when plug in. Which chipset? You talking about, like, is this PCH or MCP on this? Like that. I am always hungry, yes. What have we got on offer? Ice cream? GPU. Okay. There'll be that one there. Usually I do find with this board that when it does work, you do get a couple of green blinks at the very start. And so if I don't see those couple of starting green blinks, then it's not going to happen. Well, I've got to see what Leader's going to offer me. By the way, Pernov, we're back to the original one. This is the original board. It does occasionally boot up, so... omelette. Yeah, I prefer a toasty over omelette simply due to the ease of eating. What? Ice cream is food? That's like a shark saying fish... fish are friends. Yeah, can definitely be EFI. Okay. Bacon and banana toasty, I've had those. Bacon and banana pizza is even better. EFI. Where the heck do they hide the EFI chip on this one? Is it that one there? Or, well, look at the board, Paul. What code language? Chris, most of the time I am a C coder, which means I get sneered and looked down upon by fancy pants C++ coders. I will admit I do steal now some C++ bits, which I find useful. So I prefer to mostly write in C and then just boost it up a little bit with some convenient templates and whatnot. Ham and tomato would be nice. Yeah, not too much ham, just, just enough to remind me that I am eating a bit of ham, but not so much that I'm thinking, oh god, I'm eating ham. I write in Aussie C. Yeah. Yeah, Loke, banana on pizza does indeed work very well, actually. I mean, when you think about it, we have, like, pineapple on pizza. What's so wrong about banana on pizza? I think U6100 is what I'm after. Indeed it is. Right there. Well, there you go. Jim's made a good suggestion. Banana and Nutella pizza. Yeah, the great ham and pineapple. I do love my Hawaiian pizza, I'm sorry to say, I do. Alright, Pernov, shall we try the EFI? Kinda looks... I'd be very surprised though if it was EFI and the fact that it's intermittent, but hey, I mean, I guess we'll give it a go. You know, the fun thing's gonna be not upsetting anything around here. Loki, if you get the right kind of pineapple on it, it's good. Like I know, say like if you're doing a pineapple fritter, deep fried pineapple fritter, then you want that sugary sweet pineapple. But on a pizza you want something slightly less. Check rails for low resistor bad cap. Yeah, maybe. It seems like, honestly, yeah, I'm going to look over it again. Honestly, it feels more like a part that's got some sort of undercutting or corrosion on it. I suppose if I twist the board it might reveal it. I would expect an EFI fault to manifest in a somewhat different way. I mean, for all we know, it could be these caps here. Why is that coil there a bit funny? I do have, I have an i5 version, Panov, that is working. Would it be okay to compare an i5 one versus an i7? I don't have any other working i7 ones, otherwise I would be using that right now. Yeah, the sometimes intermittent bit kind of makes me think I might be better off looking first. I mean, at least it is a fairly easy thing to test. You know, change the EFI over. But I just got the feeling that it's got to be something more like a crack pad or a spot of corrosion I just haven't seen. What doesn't help is this board is in pretty good condition. .1 on boot and vCore. Geez, that's actually quite a bit more than this, because this was 0. What was it, 0.81 or something like that? I could try things like the old heat up a section of the board, see if it boots type technique too. That's usually a reasonable way of finding your way towards a part that's got a broken end cap or a bad pad on it. Can you also check the usual platform reset out? Yeah, sure. I mean, that's no problem at all, Pelnoff. It's easy to test these things, you know, when you have exactly what you're looking for. No. Scratchy nose. See up here, there's a whole bunch of platform reset L. right in this cluster here from that middle pin there. And we have 3.32 on platform reset L. I do notice that the fans spin up after about 10-15 seconds. They come up to full speed. What have we never been asked before? Now I've got to go back and find out what's been. Jesus Daniels? Blimey heck. Jack Daniels maybe? I don't think so. I'm more of a Jack Daniels. Give me a bottle of bourbon. If I let my hair out, sometimes I can look a bit. That's an interesting fault to have on a resistor. I wouldn't call that normal by any means. What are the chances? What is that resistor? It's in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. But yeah, could be physical damage. So we've got that cluster, and then up here, it's one of these two, top one. 3VSO to PCI into AL. And that should be a 10K. Can't possibly imagine why it would have that defect on it. That's kind of reading open. That should be 10K, not mega ohms. Okay, 2020 should also be 10K, which is the one just below it. Okay, so that reads 10K. Let's go back up to this one, just in case we didn't get our probes in the right spot. And we are reading 15 megs. Yeah, that's the only thing that concerns me here is why would that do that? Why would a resistor die like that? It's definitely not normal, that's for sure. Lid cover impact? I'd be very surprised if it is, because it's a fairly protected area. But there's some large caps around it and things like that. I'm just going to rotate it off and see if I can confirm its resistance. Pretty hard to get them to move at this area. It's definitely 30 megs or so, so that's sincerely not correct. Sorry folks. Okay, have you not seen the resistor the whole time? So yeah, this resistor here, it should be 10k, but it's reading in the mega ohms region. And you can see it's got that weird void out of it. I'm just leaving it there so I've got it for later. Yeah, it's a resistor. First precursor to being a rebel. Okay, and that's a 402 10k. Alright, so we've got originals for that. Chris Esteban, did you manually make the code for the line traces in your program, or did you use some kind of AI? When you say the lines, do you mean like when let's go into schematic again. Like when I click on a pin and it sends off the lines off to all the other pads. There's nothing fancy about that. That's just simply drawing a line from that point to any other point on the board that has the same network name. It was, if that is what you're talking about, that was a feature that I didn't actually think was going to be a feature. It was more just me trying to help myself out at one stage. And then a lot of people started to actually quite like it, so I was like, oh well, I'll leave it in there. ESR tester on the way. Ooh, I'll be able to test my equivalent resistance. That'll be useful for caps and power supplies, eh? What? Alita's got... Oh, yeah, good point. I don't know if she would know how to put links in anyway. Oh, she's off to make me a toasty. I should put her in... I was going to say, I should just put her in a timeout. Well, I mean, it's just an algorithm that does it. Because most of these board views, the only data that is in the board view file is the pin position, the network name of the pin, like PP bus G3 hot, and the part that it's associated with. So you only have that 3 bits of information, and you can build the whole board file from that. The only additional information that you often have is the board outline. Oh, and of course what side the part is on. So to make a functional board view doesn't require a lot of information. To make a pretty board view, you do want some more information, like pad and part outlines and things like that. But we are lucky, in spite of the limited information, we can make very usable MacBook board views. Defcom, you seem to do a lot of reviews on stuff. Do you get shops sending you stuff, or do you just still buy it for yourself? Okay, let's see what resistance value we get now. Hey, so that's far more like it, 10k. But even with that replaced, my greater concern is why did that even do that? That looks like it got punched out, and the question is why. And it's kind of like when you get a fuse, you go, yeah, I found a blown fuse, but the question is, why did it blow in the first place? Anyway, let's see if this thing even boots now and we get a green light. You saw one or two cats with one dark solder. There was a little bit of corrosion on some of them, but we'll have a look. Okay. So, I mean, we may have fixed something, but it's not going to be relevant to the actual boot sequence directly. We haven't got to the stage where it's even going to come into play. Yeah, it feels like that's not even coming to play yet. So something else took a shot through this board. Chris, all the data is just, it's just geometrical XY data in a file that the program interprets and draws up. Kind of like a CAD program, that's all. Right, yeah, where were we? Over here. So, fixing that up didn't really change anything. Yeah, that was way over, but it seems like it didn't actually have any real part on that. And the trouble is that was on 3V. Ah, man, where'd I go? 3v3SO, so yeah, there's only about 160 parts that have got that rail on them. That one looks fractured. Check the rails for shorts. No, not as of yet. Mostly because it does come up sometimes. And usually when things come up sometimes, it tends not to be a short. But then again, that's not always true. There's always exceptions to these rules. Sometimes it can be a case of there is the occasional time where enough current can be produced to keep the voltage stable and it keeps afloat and keeps on trucking. I mean, you could look at that cap there and sort of go, oh, that's a bit shonky. It becomes a bit of a gambling, guessing game where you sort of go, is that just normal surface corrosion or is that something more deep and meaningful? The chances of finding that resistor with that popped out portion is pretty much zero. So we did find it, but it doesn't appear to have been the cause. It was more just a victim. And it would seem that the problem might have been that 3VSO had a bad day. I suppose a good idea would be for me to see what 3VSO is actually measuring at. Although I would imagine it wouldn't get... No, I don't know. I'm just going to measure it. Right there. Let's see what 3VSO is. It's interesting, it's 3v3. Oh, it is 3v3, duh. So that's fine. Down and left, you're saying, eh? There's a couple with a bit of corrosion on them, but nothing's standing out. You got a board view up and running? You can tell me the part number maybe? Like, I mean, there's these. That's what I was talking about before. Micro easy outs. Now those things can be useful, definitely. 7201. Did you leave the dead chip cap on the board? So at this point, yeah, it's a resistor. Yeah, I left it there because I wanted to be sure. If I wanted to double check, I can come back later and measure it. Sometimes it can just be a case of your probe points decided not to, decide to have a bit of gunk on them. So I have a habit of leaving the dubious part around. So like this here, that little pop out of there. So now, normally you expect chipping from the edges of them, but not typically from the middle like that. I don't think this one's going to be any problem. It's a 10K as well anyway. We'll double check it, but like I said, I doubt this is going to have anything wrong with it. But there's sort of standard ways you expect the 9.8, so that's fine. So I feel like I almost have to go through and check every single one of the 165 odd parts that have PP3v3SO on them and find something that's popped its head a little bit. Now, they look a little bit dodgy, but again, it's more surface corrosion there. I could put this under the infrared and see what it looks like if you like. Although you'll mostly just see heat coming from the CPU and the GPU. It'll have a bad tendency of swamping everything else. What bothers me about that resistor that we replaced is that pretty much went straight to the PCH, I think. PCI serial low. Yeah, it went straight into the PCH. Am I a self-taught evil genius or university indoctrinated? I'm both. Next to 2 orange caps. What this? You're talking about that part there? I think that's a filter actually. Yeah, judging by its construction, that's a filter. And yep, that's L2550. What's your thought on replacing CPU socket? Having sweet FA luck getting POP of my motherboard to respond, so I'm thinking of getting a socket off eBay. Wow. Yeah, I've never done anything like that. Board probably has other batch of 10K resistors. Oh. to the right. Is that a... That looks slightly suspicious, that mark. But yeah, oh, that's just laser. Bit of junk in the letter L there. I am self-taught and I'm also university taught. I found that having a bit of both goes a long way. There are things that you learn at university that you would probably go through your whole career without learning, and there are things you learn in your career in the first couple of days that you'll never learn at university. So yeah, I feel strongly that you need both. Which is why a lot of the courses like what I did will tend to force you to go out and get work at the end of your year. So you finish your year of study, you think you're going to kick back and do nothing, but nope. You got to go out there and get a job, even if it's a job doing nothing, for nothing, no money. And if you don't have that by the time you come graduate, then you don't get your master's degree and you don't get to go ahead. Looks like a slight fracture down that I see. Yeah, maybe. Why does the lower memory slot go bad on MacBook motherboards? Because it's not actually pins through the board, it's pins that have been bent to 90 degrees with the loop sitting on a ball. And so that's what generally goes bad, that connection between the ball and the weird loop. I swear, I just want to twist this board and see if it works. There's what it looks like fractures here, but it's actually looks more like scratches, they're not fractures. South of RAM, dark cap solder. There's a few of them. They all look like surface jobbies to me. Uni for select sort, insert sort, quick sort. Yeah. That's right, NE 555. And then you go out into the real world and everyone just does bubble sort. And occasionally the real smart ones will use Q sort, only because it's included at no extra penalty. Truth. I'm gonna have to get the hammer out soon. Now I'm getting tired. I wonder where my toasty is. I might have to go check on a leader and see what's going on, because unless she had to do some emergency intervention stuff with the kitty cats. She's making the bread first. No, that's probably true. I'm gonna get into trouble if I interfere with that process. She'll be like, "Ah, that's it, you ruined it, gotta start again, go back to the start. Don't collect $200, go to jail." I think it's definitely time I'm going to have to start heating up sections of this board and seeing if anything comes to life. It's a very good technique for finding dodgy areas. Lift one tantalum at a time. Chuck a tantrum with each one, eh? So, this is how you do it. Just warm up a bit. Make sure you don't melt anything. Good thing we've got the chipmunk. It makes it much easier to determine if we're going to get a CPU life or not. No, it's not reflowing the solder, it's just heating up the board. And when you heat up the board, you can either make the traces in the board move or the pads. Yeah, things just shift that little bit more, and it can reveal if there is a fracture somewhere. But you only want to do small sections at a time and work your way across the board, usually opposing back and forth. And yeah, so nothing happened there. So we'll try over here. But you don't want to actually melt anything or reflow anything, you just want to heat up the board. And then you try again. I'm actually using 430, I'm going full blast at it. So it is actually reflow temperatures, but I'm not leaving it there long enough or close enough in the one spot to make it do any reflowing, because that would be a bit risky. Hey! Take off the goggles. Goggles? Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Thank you, my love. Appreciate that. Everything okay up there? A bit tired, you're looking?
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah, poor thing. Alright, the toasty's gonna dominate now. Toasty. So I'm gonna have to use the pinky finger to turn off the power supply so I can get into my toasty. And a minute before midnight. Nick, I came in this because it's a sympathetic situation. John, take care. The plate's going to catch the crumbs. Well, Toasty in Mortal Kombat will get you killed because you get distracted, and then, yeah, someone will give you a fatality shot. Oh, Sweetie's there. I guess it depends on how you say it, Nick. Like, for me, it was genuine concern because I was like, I see you're actually staying up a little later than you should and doing me favors, like making me toasties. So it's kind of my way of empathizing to say, I understand and I appreciate what you've just done for me. Yeah, AJ, it's definitely not lactose intolerance, that's for sure. I had to travel all over the world, Wayne. It takes all sorts. Corey, I'm more likely to believe it is actually just gallstone issues. Hey, Arjun, Shining from Nepal. Trading more bread against lactose intolerant? No. Oh, believe me, Wayne, I know that. That's why I'm never too concerned about. Like, I see other people making a lot of money doing this sort of work in famous places and whatnot. And it doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, I feel like I've still hit pretty damn big. And, I'm doing things a bit differently to other people, but, yeah, I'm getting there financially again after the big fall down. I'm happy for it. Oh, here you go. Your nice chewed toasty. This is ham, cheese, and tomato. Beautifully toasted, perfectly toasted on wholemeal bread. It's brilliant. Really is brilliant. And there's another delicious toasty consumed. Mmm. Toasties at midnight. There's just something very special about that. How are Australians taking the Tesla battery? Are they positive or negative? There's some resistance. I'm assuming you're making electrical puns with that. So I still think the traces near R7850 look dodgy. Okay, I'll have a look. Wayne, yeah, I remember the old Jaffle things. Yeah, the old aluminium 2-pack, and you'd have to like fold them together, and you'd squish your bread between them, and you'd try to do like baked bean jaffles and egg jaffles. They were fun. They were good. Burnt the living daylights out of your mouth, of course. Oh, you're welcome, Arun. Yeah, that would have been back in like the 70s. And of course, you'd take it with your camping, and you'd burn the outside bread to an absolute charcoal. So you'd have to make sure you cut that off before you open it up. Yeah, I do remember burning my mouth tremendously, particularly on the egg ones, but they were really delicious. Never could stand the ones that they had the cut in the middle of it. Always had to be the full square one. The cut ones would always just be all you'd get was bread, and no actual content. But yeah, baked bean or egg ones. Spaghetti was the other one. Yep, yep. Damn, now you're gonna make me want to go get some. That was always fun. We used to always go camping as kids. Let's see. Wait, R7850. If Yummy Steak better not be trolling me here. I better put some gloves on. Ha! Joseph here. No extension cable required. That was the joyous thing about them. Yeah, anybody goes sucking up to my wife for admins is going to get banned. Only I can do that. No, unfortunately that's just normal sort of low-level corrosion. Yep, with the long handles, that's right, Wayne. Yep, we're definitely talking about the same thing. Yeah, so that's just surface corrosion. The only trouble with them was that they take so long to cook, unless you actually were on a campfire. If you did it on the house stove, you'd sort of have to do one and then flip it over, do the other, and then flip it back and do another. Every damn resistor around here has now got me paranoid. I mean, yeah. Like, is that resistor bad? Does that bulge in the middle there? Yeah. After seeing that dead 10K, I'm paranoid about all the resistors now. See, a normal laser adjustment cut in a resistor, it looks like that. That's normal, that little nick that you can see. Got cheese on my tooth. And yeah, that's not a crack, that's a scratch. Bobble and squeak jaffles. I have no idea what bobble and squeak jaffles are. Okay, you're gonna have to describe that one to me. Never heard of that term. Bobble and squeak. I'm going to take the heat sinks off this again. Heat on the large IC. What? Oh, you're obsessed with that large IC, aren't you? You took that one there. Alright. Leftovers all mixed together. Oh, okay, that's going to be interesting. Ah, power. Nope, still nothing. Same behavior. Alright, we've got a change here. When I did this area, it actually has stopped coming up. That could be just a temperature sensor saying, stuff you, I'm not going on, it's too hot. No, we've definitely done something here. It's not coming up now. We just heated up this area here. It's funny, I never heard the term bobble and squeak before. Alright, we've kind of maybe have honed in on our area of fault. So we just heated up this section. Let's go and have a look under the microscope. We probably melted something. So somewhere in this vicinity we have something that is sensitive to temperature. Actually, it's probably the polyfuse. Polyfuse probably got ticked off. They will react to heat quite severely, and it's going to take a while before that comes back down. That's F4260. And that connects. That's. Nah, that shouldn't do it. That's just off the firewire, so that really shouldn't do it. It'll stop firewire coming up, but it that's all. Pomulan thing, I'll explain it. It's trying. It's doing something. It's really not happy. It's trying to do something. You can see on the power meter, you can see how it's flickering back and forth. Chris, it really depends what you want to do, but I would say probably just learn C. And at least from once you got your fundamentals in C, you can then have a look at the others. It really depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to be an application developer, then C is probably not your ideal thing. Probably C++. I'm not even sure about C++. C sharp. If you're going to be Windows only type developing, C sharp. Now we've killed it somehow with this. Well and truly. Let's see if anything's blinking. We'll get our infrared camera. If anything is blinking, it's going to be very weak. PowerShell, and C shell, or Bash, or Z shell. Shoot. Frame on. No frame. Yep, flirtation time. I love that this Fleur just remembers stuff from weeks and weeks ago when it first comes up. So why are you holding on to those pictures? People don't want to see that stuff from weeks ago. Obviously the board is quite hot from the fact that, we cooked it. Could take a little while for that to cool down. We'll just stick power to it anyway, just in case anything wants to like flash out at us. Probably won't. There really isn't enough current that I can tell. Right now it doesn't even want to. There we go. We give it a chance to see if anything starts pulsing. Okay, we seem to have a consistent one coming up, but it could be just going through the cooldown phase. Nick, yeah, this one is a USB-C FLIR. I realised my stand was actually stopping one of the fans from spinning. So we're getting half a watt to 2 watts coming up, so something might show up soon. I could whack it with some freeze spray. It's not the best policy, but well, sometimes you just gotta do silly things, don't you? The trouble is the board itself is going to have a lot of latent heat built in it. Hey Manfred. That was a lot of freeze spray. Actually, keeping my hand there is kind of useful. I already had a good run today with the FLIR camera. I had an iPhone 8 Plus come in and it had been thrown against the wall. And the FLIR cam made a quick job of finding the fault for me. It was good because it was a classic case of it was trying to distract me with one thing. It was trying to tell me that the PMIC was actually what was at fault. But I knew it wouldn't be the PMIC, and it ended up I could just see this pixel beside the RAM that was pulsing along with the PMIC. So I knew that it was actually a dodgy RAM cap. And once I knocked that sucker off, it was all good. Yeah, we're definitely seeing some watts picking up here, so I'm just I'm looking for something pulsing. So we can reduce the spread of the... I honestly would have thought it'd be around in this area, given that when we heated this area, that's when it stopped. Okay, it does look... No, we're still popping half a watt here and there. Enough power that we should see a flick come up. Hey Tariq. What's that something you do the silly first, as in what you spray it down first? Okay, is that SMC warming up? Our SMC does seem to be warming up a little. But that's still not giving me where the pulse is coming from. But overall the SMC does seem to be getting a little bit of warmth there. But that could also be entirely normal. That's the other thing is you go looking for hot spots, but then the board itself is going to have to warm up to some degree. And all of this is just warmth coming from the actual main bench due to the fact that we've been hot airing it. Let's go back up to this area. These screws we sort of expect, they're just obstructing things. We're definitely getting pulses of 1 watt or so it should be showing up. Okay, I've just turned off now. Try to start again. Bad. There's no socket on this one. Yeah, it's definitely got 1 watt pulses coming up. I would expect to see those. Let's cover those screws. I wonder if I can see it now. Here. I swear I'm seeing a slight pulse there. In spite of all the noise, this little spot here is pulsing at about the rate that everything else is. The other curious thing is there's a trace of heat over here. It's like if you... just along here, there seems to be a trace of heat. But where that mouse pointer is... let's see, let's put... where are you, mouse pointer? Interesting, okay. I don't know if anyone else can see that, but there's definitely a rhythmic pulse here. Okay, so what is that? I kind of felt like those guys that, those people that look at ultrasonic images and stuff like that, with our medical field, and they go, oh yeah, look, I can see that's a bifurcated little vascular fault there, and you're like, what? I can only see noise there. Yeah, so this was the area where there was that pulsing. I could hit it with some freeze spray and see if anything comes up, but it seemed like a fairly weak pulse, but we can do it anyway. Why not? Yeah, Nick, that's in the software that I've written, you can actually offset. Yeah, you could do an offset so that you can shift it around to match the outlines. Okay, here we go for a spray off. Yeah, welcome to the tropics, folks, where spray doesn't mean squat. Yep, that's flashing over. There you go. We saw it just before it came over. That's flashing over. That big cap there. You saw it just before the ice ran away. You saw it instantly come up in heat. That was a toughie to find. Well, we're assuming it is it. What is that capacitor anyway? I suppose we should check that before we go crazy and just rip out the guts of everything. Schematic. Pretty sure that's that there, and it's 5ES3. Power port switch. Okay, but if it's upsetting 5ES3, it could be enough to cause it, so... We'll knock it off and see what happens. The hammer operators listen to a signal when everyone else hears noise. Yeah, and they have this conversation with the noise. It's like, do you really hear anything there, or are you just making up crap? And because that board's probably still going to be a little bit cold, I'm going to try and not hit it too much with the hot air. Give it a chance to come up to room temperature. So I'm going to put some leaded solder, poison, need some fume hood. Alright, now we hit up some hot air. Why is that out of focus? Okay, that's focused. Amazingly, when I come back to it after I've looked at it on the screen and said, oh yeah, that's in focus, and I come back and I go, oh yeah, it really is. See, the trouble with human eyes is that when looking through the microscope, they'll have a bad habit of adapting when they really shouldn't be. Okay, let's see if this actually has any... Yeah, there we go, we can see it there. That was on the underside of it. You can see the fracture there. It's not a big one. So I wonder what its resistance was. Let's check it out. Assuming I don't accidentally flick it across the room. It's actually pretty low. Alright, fair enough. Well, we'll test the board without that and see what happens. Too bright to see a crack. Alright, I'll have a look at it in just a bit. I'll put it over here so it's safe. Fingers crossed we actually get a power up. Overexposed. Don't blame. What is falling through my system? Okay, we've got our power back. Question is, will we get green light, or did something just go through this board and destroy a lot of things? Because remember, we had that 10k resistor that was completely dead, which is making me think that we actually have a bunch of faults on this board. Yeah, we're still not alive. Something really has taken a hammer to this board. That's sad that that's not alive still. Mind you, maybe it actually needs it, that cap. Yeah, shouldn't really. Oh no, it is coming up anyway. It's because we're showing 5 volts on the tester. Yeah, cascade effect for sure. Interesting that it does work occasionally. Let's heat up another area. Can you check out the other hotspot? Which other hotspot were you talking about? There was the SMC, is that what you're referring to? I'm gonna have to give up soon, it's already 12:30. Especially that we've now had 2, what should have been normally winning smoking gun finds, and we still don't have a win. We're starting to run down on our hopefulness juice. Near the IC, which IC? Sorry. I know, I'm asking questions that shouldn't have to be asked. Okay, Jim, yeah, I'm pretty much out myself, to be honest, Jim. Yeah, 30 watts, and that's all going into these 2 beasts here. We'll put that cap back on. It's not going to make a difference, but we'll put it on anyway. Just for the sake of completeness. And 3330, oh look at 2850. And flux over my fingertips. Okay, sweetie, I'll be up there just now. I'm just going to move this one part and then I'm heading up. Hate that I got flux on my fingertips. Definitely frustrating to get this far and, you know, still not actually have any success. At this point I would be saying, yeah, I mean it's possible that the EFR is also being toasted. Next to the orange caps, lower right of the large C. everything there looks pretty good. We'll just try power it back up with the newly installed, badly installed cap. Try powering it up with the battery connected. Okay, that's interesting. You think maybe ISL issue? I mean, hey, I'm happy to do it. Someone can watch out to see if any green lighting happens. This isn't even a genuine battery, this is like a half-weight one. Oop, that just came off. Need to have battery connected. Alright, fair enough. So here we go. It's charging at least. It blinked. Okay, why? What's going on there? Why? Bad ISL? Alright. What's going on there? Let's see if it runs. Yeah, okay, it runs a battery. Okay, let's see if it runs without the battery now. As far as I know, these boards should run fine without the battery. The question is, why is it doing that? I would say, yeah, the first impression would be an ISL issue. Or a 3V42 issue. Oh, now it's running now. Now I see. This is where it starts to suck. This is where it starts to suck, because now it's working with this. The question is, why did the battery make it work? Thing is, we have the other 2850s that we repaired, and they did not need the battery connected. So one of the pull resistors in the I2C bus, yeah, I'd sooner pin it on ISL. And I would say the reason why it fired up even after I disconnect the battery is because I didn't give it enough time to discharge. BIOS, yeah. I think if we give this 5 or 6 minutes to discharge, we will find that it won't start up on that external alone. Where's the ISL on this thing? U7000, where are you? You're up by you're right there. I need to think different, right? Tell that to the person of another machine I've got where everything works fine until you shut the lid, and then the machine will not come back up for ages. Now, before I replace this, I would actually want to prove that it stopped working again. Because otherwise you'll have no way of verifying that you actually fixed the fault. Ah. Looks like it's going to take more than just a minute or two. I'm not sure how we can more rapidly return it to its previous state. When does the new scope arrive? Probably in a week or two, I'd say. COVID reinfection is meant to be a thing now. I know for some people it can be, but I think overall there's probably not too bad a degree of ongoing resistance to it. It could also be that you're getting hit with different variations of COVID, I don't know. Depends on how many times it's gone around the world, I suppose. Well, that's certainly interesting. Okay, Ainsley, thanks. So, like, if you look at what comes in, basically, yeah. So you got your battery coming in, and that's past the U7000. So really the U7000, the ISL, is the only thing that is uniquely handled separate by the DC only in. Whereas the battery, it sort of goes along and then it comes back through a bit of a loop. So what I'll do is I've just got to let this cool off or do whatever it's going to do overnight. Discharge. Pardon me. Oh, bugger it. Where's my overhead? There we go. Oh. Yeah, we're just going to let this cool itself off overnight. And I'll see if it fails in the morning. If it fails in the morning, I'll then change the ISL and see if I can then at least get a consistent performance. It would be stray voltage being held in the board. Something is flip-flopped or latched somewhere. It's not what I would call fixed at this point. This is definitely a red herring. I mean, it's great. We found a way to actually get it to work. That's fantastic. We found that it's behaving after we put the battery in. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that suggestion. But now we have to, like I said, make it not work again without the battery before we do anything further. What holds onto a voltage like that? It'd just be some of the capacitors around the place. There's some very high impedance sense lines that don't need much power at all, and they're very well insulated. So in a board like this, yeah, there's enough power to just keep those gates or states held for quite some time under normal conditions, particularly if the pathway to it is not actually correctly connected due to a fault. Earth the board. Unfortunately, that won't really get what I need. No, it's just a case of having to give it time, wait for it to dissipate. So yeah, we'll sleep on it. We'll let it sleep, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. So thank you everybody for being here for this rather bizarro evening. Thank you, Alita, who's probably asleep now, for my toasty. That was very delicious. And I will see you all next time, whenever that may be. Until then, you'll take care. Hopefully you get better sleep than I do, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, everybody.